Hello everyone, today we've got a first for the channel. We're looking at a G-Shock for the first time. It's the DW-5600E. I'd like to start by saying a big thank you to the 66 people that have hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Right, let's get to the review. The DW-5600E is 49mm wide, 42mm in length, and it's 13.4mm thick. It's a resin case, resin strap. As always, you've got 200 meters of water resistance with it being a G-Shock. You've got 2 years of battery life on a CR 2016 battery. Quite easy batteries to get hold of. And you've got mineral crystal. It's a tough mother. This watch is described by Casio as the quintessential G-Shock. It's pretty much the starting point for a G-Shock. It's about the cheapest G-Shock you can buy. And it's pretty basic as well, but it's quite a nice looking square. Now, this watch is quite unusually priced. It fluctuates a lot. In theory, you should be able to buy this watch for about £50 and roughly $50, maybe a little bit under if you're in the States. That said, it can be quite difficult to get at those prices, particularly in the UK. A lot of places will list this at £100. In my opinion, it's not worth that. You need to get it close to that £50 mark. In terms of the features, we have got a stopwatch, a timer, a repeatable alarm, and the EL backlight. The newer models do not have the EL backlight. Mine's just a little bit of an older DW-5600, so it has the EL backlight, which I really like because it's a really even light that really does the job well. One thing that I do like about the features on this one is that when you're in the different modes, so if I'm in the stopwatch mode, for instance, you can still see the current time in the top right. I find that really useful. So you can just set your stopwatch running and you've got the time. That's great. Love that. In terms of the design, it's got that retro Casio vibe. This watch is quite close to the original G that Casio brought out back in the 80s. And that's what I like about it. I'm a child of the 80s, so any kind of nod to when I first started seeing Casios in the playground at school, I really like, and this has definitely got that vibe. Some people will say with the DW-5600 that you should skip this one and actually just get the 5610 instead, which has a few more features and doesn't cost a whole lot more. The 5610 looks like this. Now, being completely honest, I actually prefer the look of the plate on the 5600, and the two main features that the 5610 comes with I'm not really bothered about. So one is tough solar. So you've got a solar powered watch in the 5610, so you never really need to replace a battery, and you've got atomic timekeeping as well. Now, being completely honest, quartz for a start is more than accurate enough for me. This watch should, at its worst, lose or gain 3 minutes a year. Now, I don't live a life where I need to be more accurate than that. Resetting my watch or adjusting it once every 6 months is not a problem for me, and that's a worst case scenario. And the second feature that I'm not really bothered about is solar charging. I would expect this battery to at least do me 4 years. Casio says about 2 years. They always understate battery life. If you're not pressing that light button and hitting all the buttons all day, every day, you're going to get a lot longer than what Casio says. Changing a battery every 2 to 3 years for me is not a problem at all. That said, if you can get a deal and you find the price is very similar for the 5610, get it. It's a no-brainer if it's there and it's the same price. On the wrist, I think it wears pretty well. It's relatively comfortable. It's a little bulky, but G-Shocks are always going to be a bit bulky. Obviously, they're built for toughness. They're not built to be a sleek, tiny little watch that slips under a shirt with no trouble whatsoever. For the most part, it's absolutely fine. I've got no problem whatsoever. Final thoughts on the G-Shock. If you need a really, really tough watch, then I would recommend it. If you just want a G-Shock because you like the look of them, then absolutely go and get this one. No problems whatsoever. If you can get it at a decent price, even better. If the price is similar to the 5610, I would recommend picking up the 5610. But if not, this is a great watch in its own right. The only thing I would say is, for me, it's probably too tough for what I need. This is for somebody that is really going to put their watch through it. Maybe they've got a job where they're cutting down trees or doing a lot of manual labor. Maybe you're a mechanic or something like that. I think this would be a great watch for that. But for me, I'm never really going to even break a normal Casio. So a G-Shock is probably overkill. And for that reason, I will probably lose this one from my collection in the upcoming weeks. It's just simply too tough for what I need.